Yeah, hello. So far we have covered the Python for data engineering, whatever the syntax were there in language, whatever we use as a data engineer on a day-to-day basis, and some important concepts. And in last class, we covered all the Unix commands uh, as a data engineer because you most of the time you work on terminal, and it's easy, it's secure, it's fast as well. And so for today, let's start with this Git versus GitHub and why we use in data engineering. So what happened whenever we write our pipelines? Pipelines means simply code. Whenever we write our code, so it is not like we are the only developer in the company who is working on the same piece of code. Suppose there is a data pipeline. There's a data code. It is coming from the different uh, sources, and then you have to process the data, you have to manipulate in somehow, and then send it to in the database, and you are the 2 3 developers working on the same Python notebook, or working on the same project. So there, who made what changes, who made what, and what are the changes being done by someone, you guys will blame each other if something will go wrong, and you guys don't know like what you are working on, what he's working on. So it may be possible you guys will overwrite or try to rewrite the same line at the same time. So to solve these issues, there is something called version control. So what happened? There are for the most popular version control these days is Git, and then GitHub is a website where we can upload our code. So it will be synchronized across. It will be synchronized on servers. So if something will happen to our local machine, the code will not get low, and we can't lose the code. And then um, we always have the access of the code. Not just we, even the in the company, anyone has the access of the code depending on in which team we are working and which team has full control on that Git repository. So this is what I have done, what we do while developing a pipeline, while writing a code, or while starting before starting any project, or during the project as well. There are some steps. One is called development environment, one is called staging. You will hear these terms when you work as a SD, software engineer, data engineer. And then so one is called feature, one is called testing, and then sometimes you do migrations, data migrations, sometimes you configure changes, and something is called production. So there's one called development environment. So development environment means that environment, or that file, or that folder in which we are actually writing the business logic, and then we are writing the business logic and releasing the new feature and releasing the new code to the code base, adding the new code to the code base. That is called development environment. One is called staging environment. Whenever development environment, when we have done with developing, we want to test our code to mimic the production environment. So there are some production, like in production environment, you can see, suppose Google has rolled out a feature on their Gmail, but before rolling out the feature to the public, they they roll out internally on the staging environment, test it thoroughly, so something will not go wrong. So they was just want to mimic the production environment, and they don't want any bug, because if something will break in production environment, most of the user got stuck in the application. So like sometimes if you release a code base and you have a mobile application, sometimes you stuck in the application. That is because there is a bug. So when I write our code, when I write my changes, I put my changes through Jenkins on the staging environment, and then on a staging environment, I test my code on some code on like depending on the input, I test my code. That is my I'm testing my code in a staging environment, and you can see staging environment, that is like mimic your production environment. I test my code properly, and then while after testing my code, it is done, and then I deploy to production. So in companies, it may or may not it may depend that your company has the testing team, proper testing team, and or as a developer, you also have to test your code to make sure that you are not writing a buggy code. In the same way, something is called testing as well. So testing you done on the staging environment, that you done your that the QA team will try to break your code. They provide some edge cases which as a developer you will not pay attention to it. They provide some changes. They provide some test cases. If your code break, they will report it to you. And then again you go back to the development environment. You again write your code, again test on staging environment, and give it to testing team. They will test your code. This whole thing is called agile, which is like CI/CD pipeline, continuous improvement, continuous development. And then when your changes are like after in final, you deploy your changes to the production environment. Sometimes in a large cloud-based architecture, like my company use AWS, so there are a lot of configurations which are going at every environment. Like in a staging environment, have different configuration, different machine, different hard drive, and then different permissions. Same to the production environment as well. Every people don't have the production environment or production data access. Some people have the production data access, some not. But in big tech companies, you probably won't have any write access on production data. Sometimes you even don't have any read access on production data. So we make a production data kind of environment that is called staging environment. So you have read access of staging environment, write access of staging environment, depending on the administrator. Then there are two things, Git and GitHub. So Git is a version control system. It is designed to help users to keep track of changes to file within their projects. As I mentioned, there may be two or three developers working on the same project. So you guys want to keep track of changes, so you guys know like who has done what work he has done, what work I has done. So we will not overwrite each of us changes. So this was a history. Like this guy was having a challenge while he was developing Linux. So Linux was open source. It has like thousands of contributors. So who commit what changes, he was totally unaware of. So that time Git was designed to help with the challenging of tracking of to Git was designed to help with the challenge of tracking all the changes and updates. Something is called GitHub. GitHub is a cloud-based hosting service that manage our Git repository. Git repository, in the same simple way, you can say our code. So what Git do? A Git keep track of all the changes to a specific folder and keep history of all the changes, which means when that particular code was added, what time, what date, who was the person who has done changes. And then you update your code on GitHub. GitHub is a website that manages your repositories. So it is just providing you a kind of backup. This is the Git workflow. You will understand this term only when you will work. So Git workflow is something like when I start a new project, or when my lead asks me, okay, Karti, you have to go this place, you have to make these changes. What I do first thing is I have my working directory. Then what I do git pull. I have my working directory. I do git pull and get all the git pull means to get the changes from the server to my local. I do the git pull. So this means if someone has done something, suppose I was sleeping, someone has done something, and what are the most latest changes. So it's like pulling from the server. I do git pull, and then I pull from the GitHub, I pull from the Git all the latest changes, and then I start my work. So all the changes which are on server, it will come to my working directory. After that, when git pull is done, I start writing my changes. When my changes are done, I do git add. Git add means changing on the stage environment. These git add means whatever my code was, it's not given to the server currently. Git add means just changes to my local. I have done my changes. I have modified my local file. Now git add command what it will do? It will do changes to my staging environment. This means whatever the things changes I have done, I am adding it to my local, or like a staging environment, you can say. in terms of Git. Then when I do git commit command, so this means whatever my local changes, push it to the server. Then again, if someone has to work, he will again go back and pull, git pull. So whatever the latest changes were there, it will come again. This is the Git workflow. You see, working directory, my local modified. Then git, I do git add my staging area, my staging library is modified. Then again, I do git commit. I commit all the files. I commit all the files to the I committed all the files. This means I'm adding all the changes. Then I do git push, like push all the changes to the remote repositories. Means this is the repo which is on server, or the folder, or my code folder which is on server. I do git push to the server. Then when I have to again use the latest changes, what I do git checkout. I pick this git checkout means pick a particular, suppose there are folder A, B, C, I do git checkout A. I get all the changes from the server, start my work again, modify my local, changes from server come to my local, again then use git add, do some changes, I do git add, then git commit. This command can be combined, git commit and push, this can be combined. So git commit means whatever the changes I have done in my staging area, I am adding it to the repo. I'm saying I can't change the changes at staging area. You can roll back your changes, but at after git commit you can't roll back your changes. Git commit is done, then again git push. This is the workflow cycle. There's a git cheat sheet I have attached. You can go through it and then you can see some commands. Let's first understand the concept. So what is remote and local branch? You will heard these terms. These are the 1, 2, 3, 4 developers. This was the remote branch. Remote means on server. He is doing some changes. He's pushing his changes to server. He is pushing changes to server. I am pushing my changes. I am pushing my changes to server. Again, if I have to use, I use the git pull. Whatever the changes this 3 has done, I will take git pull. He can take git pull. She can take git pull. They or them can take git pull. This is the remote branch. This is my local branch. As I've said to you, suppose this is my server data, this is my local branch data engineering. I made some changes. Then on terminal, I will write git push. Whatever the changes I have done, I will push it to the server. Now come to the what is called local. Local means whatever the changes are there in your local machine, in your computer folder, those changes can be limited to your like laptop or this computer or mobile, whatever the changes you have done depending on the platform. Your mobile changes are not on computer, your computer changes are not on mobile. In the same way, whatever the changes you have done, it's called local code in your file or folder. It is not shared, it can't be accessed by the other people, it can't be shared across organization. Then there's one more term, which is resolving conflicts. This topic will be a like bit vague, but let's understand like in easier language. I told you what are local changes, what is called remote, and something is called resolving conflict. I mean, these are just terms which we use daily. Sometimes resolving conflict is also called merge conflict. I mean, it is usually known as merge conflict. So merge conflict is like when two developers are working on their own dependent branch. Like you are working on a branch means, let us understand. There's a branch called master repo. In master, all the current changes are there, whatever was their master repo. I ask you, go, like someone asked me, Karthik, go add something to the code base. What I will do, I will create a local. I will create my local branch, and I will say it add email functionality. Other guy was like, he will implement send email functionality, and it's like a tree. Like from the master branch, you pull a left node. I give it a branch name. He went from the master, he pulled a write node, he made his branch name. So this means when two developers are working on their dependent branch. So I put my branch, I'm making my changes. Those changes are currently not on the server. We are working on the same file, and then what we have done, I have made some changes at the same place. At the same place, he has made some changes. Then we will what we do, we did push. And she did push. When both of our code push to the main branch, it will say there is a conflict. Conflict means there's a merge conflict. Merge means this server can't merge my changes into him, and then this server can't merge her changes to him. So possibly in a easier language, you can say we tried to override the same line. We both developers tried to override the same line of code. So what Git usually do, it will normally try to automatically auto merge all the changes. But if there is a conflict, if there's no conflict, it will merge both of our changes. But there is a conflict, then it need to be resolved manually, which means then I came to know, okay, I made some changes to the same line. Then we both will like discuss, and then we both will delete our line depending on the situation. So that is called resolving a merge conflict. Now, if you will see how I started my project, I wrote git pull. I pull from the origin. These are the Unix command. You can't run. These are not the Python commands. These are the Unix commands. You did git pull, then you did git checkout -b feature 1. This means this is a git command cheat sheet. You will see what each command means. I'm saying git pull from the remote. Then git checkout. Git checkout means from the remote checkout. This checkout -b represent for branch. This is my feature 1 is my branch name. Check out a branch, create a local branch. Same developer 2 has done. Then developer 1 making their changes to a file called feature.js, and then he commit the changes to the repo for approval. This means suppose you make a changes and then you push your changes to the repo, push your changes to the server. Then there's a person, your senior lead, he or she will approve your code changes and then allowing it to merge to master. This means you have push, you have pull, you create your new branches, local branches, you made some changes, and then you push. This means you guys want to merge your code to the master. But here I am saying, okay, I will review your changes, then I will allow you to merge to master. Because if something will go bad in master, then it will not be easy to fix it. Master means the main code, which is called the PR. For approval is called PR request. PR means peer review request. Then this means you add feature JS, and then you added your code to this file. What you did commit to this code with this commit message, and then you pull the origin code. You git pull origin and then main. You again pull the main code, and then you push your feature branch. Then you push your feature.js to the origin. I mean, I'm again saying it's a bit vague to understand like this way, but when you will work, you will hear these terms, and these commands are the main thing. These commands are the main thing and concept I'm telling you. So when they have done their changes, the PR review, the PR means the programmer review, they will review your code and then merge into the main branch. So when you will go through these two things, there's a story. So the story is this: two developers were working. They both pushed their changes. Then the senior engineer came. He reviewed their changes and then merged into the main branch. Again, the developer 2 is starting to code on his feature branch. This means developer 1 changes was merged, but then developer 2 changes were not there. He was just doing the coding thing. Then what he do? He tried to again merge their code, but then a conflict happened. This means now the computer is confused which code to pick. The thing which uh, developer 1 has modified, or the thing which the developer 2 has modified, if they are modifying on the same line. Then you will see some error like this. If you want to merge the branch, you will say on branch feature 2, you have unmerged changes because there is a conflict in this file, in this file, in this file. You have to manually go and remove the code, then the conflict is resolved. Then there's one more term which is called, again the story is there, like in order to merge developer 2 need to see and compare the changes from developer 1. This means suppose developer 1 has done something and developer 2 want to merge their changes, and so he need to see what developer 1 has done. How he can see? If the developer 1 has pushed their code to the production, and you can also like resolve the merge issue by running the following command. You will see git log merge. You can see who has, this is the commit ID, who has commit changes. Developer 2 has commit changes, what time did commit he or she has commit changes. Then you can see merge log. So merge log will show you where are the merge conflicts and who has who has done what. There you can see who has tried to merge to the main branch with the help of this command merge log. We will see the command. One more thing, suppose you want to see what are the differences. Let's understand by these visualizations. Okay, this was your main repo. This was your main repo. This was your main repo means this was your main code. Then someone has done some changes. There is PR review. PR review means senior who is reviewing your code telling you these changes are correct, these changes are wrong. Go, this logic is wrong. Go and rewrite it. PR review, and then the code is merged. So what happened? This was the main repository. This code was there at so we can understand this by date. Okay, today is 22 July. 20 at 18 July nothing happened. 19 nothing happened. 20 nothing happened. 22 what happened? 22 July. The code was 21 July nothing happened. But on between 21 and 22 July, what happened? I like git checkout minus b. What this do from this main repository? What I say, whatever this node is, whatever the code at this node is, give me this code. So I check out my local branch. This is my local branch. I made some changes. And after 3 days, in 3 days, I made 3 changes. Then I want to merge it to my main branch. So here, where the PR review will come, and then this branch is called the feature branch. This branch is called the main branch. So you made changes on your feature branch. Then you merge your changes to the main branch or remote branch. So these are the terminologies we use in Git. What is main repository? What is feature branch? And what is called terminal? Like what is the feature branch? What is the main repository? What is PR review? So you can visualize this like this. At every date the code was this. Then I came. My senior said to me, do some changes in this code base. I pull the same code base in my local, made some n number of changes. Then when I'm satisfied, okay, testing is done, staging part is clear, then I will push it to production. Then here production means the main repo. I'm merging it to the main repo. Then main repo will continue. This is how the thing work. This is the workflow intake. This is the workflow. What I told you, like in Git, when you start your project, you do git pull. Git pull means pulling the code from the server, whatever the server code was. Suppose you 3 people were there, you all 3 made their changes last night and push your code to server. Again next day I have to make some changes. I will put the latest code from the server, git pull. Then I will create my own feature branch or my own local branch. I will create my branch. I created this branch. I made my changes to the branch. Then with the git status, I can see whatever the changes were there. Then git add, what git add will do, whatever changes I have made, it will add to the branch. Then git commit. Git commit means whatever the change I have done, I'm saying okay, these are the permanent, and then these are the final. I want these changes permanently. Then git push. I'm pushing my branch to the main branch. This is the how the git workflow look. Something is called head as well. So head is like, head told me, head is a term you will see in git. Head is, you can see. So head will tell me on which branch I am currently. Head will tell me on which branch I am currently. And as you will see, it told you on which branch you are currently on, because it's like a special pointer which is called head. So in every git folder, it refers to a particular branch. It refers to the particular branch or the current commit. Current commit means latest code changes wherever you have done. So you can use this command cat.git/head. You can get where is your latest head, where is your latest changes. So git always keep a track of the latest code. So this is on the architecture side, how git works and all. One more command we saw here, git diff. We saw earlier, this is a command git diff. Git diff command, what it will do, it will keep track of whatever the code I am adding, whatever the content I am removing content or adding content. So git diff command will show whatever the contents I have added or whatever the contents I have removed at a specific point of time. So when you will write git diff means your library when you initially imported was different, your Python file was different. Now it is different because you have made some changes or you have removed some changes from the Python file. So as you will understand, the git is something like to keep the track, to keep the logs of everything. Then there's one more command, git log, git diff. So if you want to see changes across two branch, suppose there's a branch 1, branch 2, and you just want to compare both of the branch. So suppose you made branch 1 in the month of January, you did your changes, the branch was there. Then in the month of July, you made the same file, changes in the same file, but it was on another branch, and you want to like compare something with from the past. Then you will go, and then you will use this command, git diff branch 1, branch 2. So you can see whatever the changes were in past, suppose in branch 1, and whatever the current changes are in branch 2. What is the difference in terms of code? Git blame is a very helpful command to keep track of who did what and when. There's a command git blame. So it is why it is called git blame. As you can understand, it can be easily used to like who made what changes, who made which changes when, who was the developer, how many lines he has added, or what was the comment he or she has done. That is used here. The git blame command is very useful. So you will write git blame, and then it will show you who was the developer, who was working on it. Something is called forking. So forking is another type of workflow. The key difference between branching and forking is that forking always create a new repository entirely. Branching, what it will do from the current changes, it will pick something. But this thing, forking always create a new branch every time. It not pull from the existing branch. It create a new repository, you can say. So this is the term forking. Like when someone asks you, when you join a company, so they will ask you, go and fork the code presented on the GitHub in your local. So forking means they are saying download entire code, download entire thing, whatever you have access to. So that is called forking. So these are the some common words which you will listen. And let's go to this cheat sheet. Can you see my screen? Can you guys see my screen? Okay, I assume. This is Git cheat sheet. You can set up your whole project by just following these lines. And you can go through it. Whatever the content I have taught, you will easily find all of those content in this cheat sheet. And this is how the Git can be used. Okay. So you can go through it. You can go through the cheat sheet, understand the command, how it is working. And you can also set up Git in your local. You can see the command, how it is working. And then you can ask some questions. Now, this class for today, this class is done. And what I will do, I will upload the searching sorting module. I will upload the recorded module searching sorting because less people are there. So I will upload the recordings. You guys can go through it. There's no sense if there are like less people to teach it live. And this was the concept of Git and GitHub. If you will understand every term in this and you will make some, you can understand these visualizations. That's why I put some visualizations. Then you can get to know what is main repository, what is feature branch, whatever things I have told you. Go through the video again and then see these things, because when you see a data engineering job description, they do write it Git version control. They should have knowledge of Git and CI/CD. Okay, so that's all what I say for today. I will upload the. I wanted to teach the. I wanted to teach searching sorting, but as a less people are there. What I will do, I will upload the nice recording, and then you guys can go through. You guys can go through it. That's all from my side. Anyone have any question? I'm taking this as a no, and then we will meet. Bye.